Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Express. Well, this is a new week and a new episode on what is becoming everyone's favorite talk show. You'll agree with me that it is encouraging, exciting, profound, real, energizing, sensible, and sensitive. This is what Express is all about, and much more. So, without any further delay, please help me welcome back to the stage the beautiful, expressive, talented, and savvy director of Express. She's called Carolyn. Carolyn, take it away.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to my show, Express. It's so good that you could stop by. I woke up this morning, and we really do not know how the day will end. Well, my guest today, his name is Dijon Plummer, and he has a compelling story full with adversary, calamity, catastrophe, but still he triumphed. Why don't you sit back and listen as he tells his story? Welcome, Dijon.
Hi, Carolyn. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being here. And I mean that. Thank you so much. Now, you've come to tell your story. And we know this is not easy for you, but you have decided to do so because you want to help at least one person who could be going through the same thing, and maybe you might be able to help them. So, go ahead.
Thank you, Carolyn, for having me.
You're welcome.
My name is Dijon Plummer, and my life changed totally on December 21st, 2005, when I lost my wife and two younger children in a house fire. I think Carolyn alluded to it earlier about the fact that life is unpredictable. We have no idea what tomorrow is going to bring, and tomorrow is not promised.
Exactly.
I can't put in words, and I've tried several times to express the devastation, the sense of loss, how nothing made sense anymore in life. And hopefully by sharing my story, that someone else will be benefited, encouraged to actually be inspired and not to give up.
Right. So this happened. How did it impact your life?
Oh, how didn't it? Picture losing everything that ever meant anything to you and multiply it by 10.
No.
There were days when I couldn't feel emotion. It hurt so bad that I had to use logic, intellect to assess danger. There was so much devastation that how do you take away anything from somebody that has lost everything? And so therefore it kind of I existed, I didn't live for probably a couple of years.
Wow.
Um, I would have to eat on a schedule because I had no appetite. I would have to do hygiene on a schedule because you're
Didn't feel like.
no, you don't. You,
Mm.
you, you can't. I remember an experience where I would drop off our eldest, my stepson, our eldest child. Drop him off to school,
Mm-hmm.
and I would get there about 7:50 in the mornings, drop him to school, and then pick him up at about 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Okay.
So I dropped him to school and I came back home, and I just decided that I wasn't going to go in the house. I didn't. Well, we didn't have a house at the time. I was staying by my brother because our house had burnt.
Yeah.
And I just decided to sit there in the parking lot just for a little bit. Remember, I dropped off my son at
On. Yeah. That's still
7:50 in the morning.
15. Mm-hmm.
A few minutes, what seemed to be a few minutes, the phone rang. It was my brother. I picked up the phone and he said, "Hey, where are you?" So I'm saying, "Oh, I just dropped off my son, and he was sitting in the car. Not ready to go inside yet." And he says, "Have you eaten?" I said, "Oh, no, I didn't have any breakfast yet." He said, "Breakfast?" I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "It's minutes to 1.
So time
I
was.
can't
You weren't
count
sleeping until I said
from 8 o'clock until 1 o'clock
9 o'clock. Mm.
to this day. Gaps. You asked me how it affected me, how it changed my life.
Mm-hmm.
I would eat breakfast because I know I'm supposed to eat breakfast. I'd eat lunch because I know I'm supposed to eat lunch. Didn't matter what you gave me. Didn't matter what was there. I just needed to eat because I lost so much weight and I got so weak that people thought that I had some terminal disease illness.
Wow.
In terms of my interaction with people, it changed because now you see folk place so much emphasis on titles, on degrees, on money, on status,
Mm.
and they fail to realize that all of this is just temporary,
Yes.
and it is almost like a puff of hot air. So I had to redefine life, like what was important, what wasn't,
Wasn't.
and nothing felt important. I mean, you okay? So you live in a 10-bedroom house. How many bedrooms are you gonna live in?
In once.
You're gonna sleep in one.
Mm-hmm.
You have a California size, king size bed. How much of it are you actually gonna sleep on?
Mm.
I think long term, it made my appreciation of some of the things that I saw around that people valued, I think it made it go away. So at this point, I don't see the value in a lot of the titles and the accolades that people thrive and strive for.
Mm-hmm.
It's pointless. And then I had the process of God sent a friend into my life.
Yes. Was.
And it's an interesting story because,
Mm-hmm.
looking back now, we've been married 15 years and we've had 2 children from this marriage. But the reality of it is, God sent this person in my life And strange enough, her name is coincidentally Faith. But she was my friend. And I didn't at the time see her as the woman that she was. She was just this person I felt comfortable with. In retrospect, I realized that God had intentions for her to be in my life and for her to teach me how to feel again, teach me how to love again, show me and share purpose for my life. So now, subsequent to all of this, been a registered nurse to the last 20 years.
Right.
And for the last 4 years now, we have started our own funeral home called Plummer Funeral Home.
Okay.
And my partner, my business partner, my life partner is Faith Plummer.
Okay. So let me ask you. I remember once talking with you, and you said, of course, you became a registered nurse, but prior to that, I remember you saying one of your dreams was to be a funeral director. Am I right?
Yes.
Huh?
Yes, since I was a kid.
Isn't that something?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
So let me ask you this. Do you think the fact that you had to deal with arrangement for the funeral, or was it your relatives who did the arrangement? Do you think that helped to sort of get that dream back in your life, or was that how were you treated while you had to actually plan for the funeral? Did that awaken that dream? Were you treated right? Do you feel, no, I have to do this because I didn't feel comfortable with the treatment? Or explain that for me. How did that really get back into your gut?
Well, I tell you, the awakening happened maybe about a year or so afterwards, because when you're going through it, it's just a blur. Everything is just moving in slow motion and gray. But when I went through that experience, the funeral home that took care of us, they were very professional.
That's good. That's good.
But they didn't see me. They didn't see how devastated, how broken
You were.
I was. And it's just little things that triggered my whole experience.
Like, would you mind to mention?
In terms of how Tracy used to wear her hair.
Okay.
I remember when we went to do the initial viewing, and I said, listen, she used to wear her hair back in one. If you guys don't know how to do it, I'll come and do it myself. And they're like, no, Mr. Plummer, we'll take care of it.
Okay.
So, of course, I didn't see the family again until the day of the funeral.
Okay.
And the day of the funeral, they didn't do what I asked them to do. Just something simple like that.
Simple like that, yes.
Just something simple. And it just triggered me. I was like, they could have done everything else perfectly. But you just never come right here how I asked you to. And I spoke to you about it. And I thought to myself, and I said, God, if I ever have the opportunity to be taking care of families when they're hurting, nobody should feel like I'm nobody. Nobody should feel
the way you felt.
Heard. Nobody should feel like I don't see them, or any of my staff hasn't paid attention to the little details. And so therefore, the funeral home is more of a ministry rather than a business. Because I have this weird notion that you really can't bless yourself more than how God can bless you. A lot of times we try to go ahead and bless ourselves. But what we need is totally different from what we want.
Mm-hmm.
And that clashes with God's will for our life.
Yes.
We have this notion, and we've been, I want to say, even brainwashed to think that blessings are, oh, it's money, or it's the big house, or it's the big car, and it's the titles and the doctor, this. And sometimes blessings it have to do with your ability to help somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes blessings have to do with just peace of mind to be able to come home and get a good night's rest. Sometimes blessings equate to your children not on drugs.
Exactly.
They're in school, they're behaving themselves, they're safe, they
Right.
haven't been kidnapped. We live in Atlanta here, and they have trafficking, human trafficking. You don't have to worry about that. It's almost like it doesn't exist, but for some folk it's real.
Right.
And the mere fact that it's not on your radar, you're blessed.
True. You see, from your experience, I've always, sometimes I meet people in life and I see their attitude and I say to myself, I would say, okay, this one hasn't been through it yet, because I've been through a lot myself. So when I see people, sometimes the way they, in different ways, I can actually say that person has not been through life. Because when you have a testimony like your testimony, you cannot be the same. And this is why you think the way you think. Even for your business, I know without a shadow of a doubt that your funeral home is the best, if it's not the best. Because you know why? Simple from what you just told me. You are careful to not let someone else go through that experience that you went
Yes,
through.
yes. It didn't feel good. It didn't feel good, and
Exactly.
we avowed that to the best of my ability. Nobody should feel that way, especially if I've been placed with the responsibility of taking care of them. We have to hear you,
Right.
even to the point where I can't upsell. I can only inform you of stuff, of the different packages and offerings and so forth,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because I don't like people to upsell me.
Right.
And I get it that we miss out on business opportunities and we leave money on the table, but that's okay, because I'm not the one blessing myself. I am not the one who's creating multiply for my actions. This is bigger than me.
Mm-hmm.
This is bigger than everybody who we work with. I am accountable to God.
Yes.
Sounds strange, but it's true.
It's true.
I am accountable to Him. So if He puts me in this position and I don't do what I'm supposed to do, then I'm answerable to Him.
Wow. From 1996, this has been my dream to be able to have a talk show. And then when I went through my trials and my tribulation, and I realized that having a story and being able to help someone who has the same story, it's so valuable. And when the COVID came along, the pandemic came along, it came back in my spirit. I'm saying so many families out there are hurting. I want to be able to talk to people and let them speak, let them share their experience so that others looking on can be blessed. So I'm so happy that you were able to stop by today and to share your story. Now,
Mhm.
what do you want to say? Anything else before you end?
Well,
Tell us.
I think that the takeaway that I would hope that we can reach to somebody
Right.
Anybody out there who's willing to listen. And it doesn't matter what your belief system is. It really doesn't. You worship Buddha, you worship Jesus, you worship Muhammad. But there's a God,
Exactly.
and He's real.
Mm-hmm.
And there's more to life than just the pursuit of pleasure. When you've realized and you've gone through the process of losing all of that perceived pleasure,
Mm-hmm.
and you have to repurpose your life, and you have to find what it is that God wants of you, not what you want, but
Mm-hmm.
what God wants of your life,
Mm-hmm.
for you to then channel that into some good, some purpose for His name's sake, not for your praise.
Right.
Because that is just the same mouths that praise you will tear you down. The
No.
same mouths that build
Exactly.
you up will tear you down. You can't rely on that.
Mm.
Everything in life is so temporary. So we can't even place value on it.
Exactly.
Remember when I was 21, I was strong as an ox. I could get out there and run 10 miles. Now,
Mm-hmm.
if I run a quarter mile, I need oxygen. It's the same me.
Yes.
But we're at a different stage in life. And my takeaway is, if we don't get distracted with the stuff around, the accolades, then we truly can listen to what the Holy Spirit wants us to do.
Mm-hmm.
We can find purpose, something bigger than ourselves to be a part of. We can actually help people,
Make a difference.
be a real important help,
Mm-hmm.
and making a difference in people's lives.
Yes.
And if we do that, then guess what?
It's worth us
God
living.
doesn't have to. God doesn't have to now humble us,
Mm.
because it's a different thing when you have the biggest downfall is pride, eh?
Mm.
I mean, that's where it almost like sin originated. It sounds like I'm preaching. I don't want to, but yo,
No, but it's true. You
real
keep
talk.
speaking. It's true.
And if you're in a position where you accept that your existence is supposed to address something bigger than you, then you're on the right path, because the world can't circle and revolve around you and you only. You're not going to get any satisfaction out of it. You're not going to get any happiness out of it. I think we are, but we're not. We're not. I don't know, and I said to you offline earlier that I don't know if I'm a success story. I feel that I'm broken inside also, but I'm trying to use the lemons that were placed in my life to make some lemonade,
Mm.
to turn this around to be something purposeful, to actually make a difference in people's lives. Because if the objective is to have a business and make a lot of money, the question is, after you've eaten and your tummy is full, how much more are you going to eat?
Exactly.
You live in a house that has 10 bedrooms. How many bedrooms are you going to be sleeping in?
Sometime.
How much is enough? Is it $1 million? Is it $2 million? Is it $10 million? So when you get there, can you say I've achieved it?
Mm.
How much is enough? Because you can't fill that void
It's money.
inside of you with stuff.
Right.
You can't. You
So,
can't.
mm-hmm. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so, so much. I'm going to leave a thought here. Some of you today have had unfair things happen. Life has not turned out like you hoped. But God is saying to you, if you just rise up out of those ashes and put on a new attitude, He's telling you that He'll bring you out, and He'll bring you out twice with what you've had before. I'm so glad that Dijon took the time to come and share his story. And what a powerful story. You can see his life has changed because of it, but for the better. And he's still feeling that, there's so much more that he could do. But I know the position he is in is a position that he holds dearly. And I know whoever goes to him will be served well. I know I don't have to go there to know. Because when you've experienced something and you have been motivated by it, you do it differently. So we have now come to the end of my show. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And until we see you again on Tuesday. Take care. This is Carolyn saying bye-bye.